lecture slide, right? And it's very simple. It's only like 7-page. File download. Okay, so this is like a non-natural boundary case. So just like I said, when you study after this, when you study this topic and when you use my lecture note, this PowerPoint slide, I want you to use this this animation mode, right? And I already told you about this a couple of times. So I want you to use the animation mode. Okay. So okay. So this is like a non-natural boundary case. And then there's 2 video lectures. Non-natural boundary case 1 and non-natural boundary. So I give you 2 examples, right? And this is the 3rd example. I mean, this is like example number 2. Actually, this is example number 3. And then this is like there's no video lectures, but if you click this, so basically, given IP address and subnet mask is given, and you know that this is like this is how you should how you should calculate to get the the network address, the first usable IP address, the second usable, and this is like a last host IP address, and then what? The final is broadcast address. Okay, so pretty much I give you the answer, but this won't make any sense until you watch my previous video tutorial. Okay. Now, let's briefly talk about. So if you click this first video lecture, okay, I explain everything in detail. Okay, so now let's just go back to my lecture slide. So basically, I'm going to briefly explain why for example, what is this non-natural boundary case is, first of all. Then I think you can look at the details, right? You can learn details by watching my video tutorial, okay? So let's just first okay. It's a network. Okay, good. Okay, so this is like a non-natural boundary cases, right? So so far, right? So far, when I give you so far, when I give you the homework assignment, right? So basically, I give you the IP address. Let's say So 192.168. Let's say 1.0, right? So this is given. And then so far we know that everything is what? We assume that everything is what? Every IP address is what? Classful. Right? Okay. Claire. Can you hear me, Claire?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is this? What is the subnet mask? Okay. What is the class, for example? What is this class? Is it class A, B, or C? Which one?
C.
Thank you. It's a class C. So what is a default subnet mask for the class C?
It's 255.255.255.0.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so we know that this is like a typical example, right? So as you can see, this is what? This is a /24, right? And then you know, for the class B, subnet mask is what? 255.0.0. So that's a slash what? 16, right? So this is for the class B, for the class B IP address. And then we know that for the class A IP address, right? We know the subnet mask is 255.0.0.0. Okay. Oh, by the way, before I move to the next topic, I need a volunteer. I know that this is a very basic question, but let's just review. Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so could you just please briefly tell me what the subnet mask is or what the subnet mask does?
So
why, okay, first of all, why we need the subnet mask?
sorry, say that again?
Okay, I mean, basically, could you just tell me what subnet mask, what is the main goal of having this subnet mask information? Why do we need subnet mask?
It's how many, like, is it how many networks there are or hosts?
Close, but I cannot give you A. I can probably, I know that you understand. So I give you B plus or B. So anyone who wants to elaborate?
I try.
Yes. What is your name, by the way?
The main, Abdullah Al-Jammaz.
Okay, so Abdullah. So
the main role of the subnet mask is to know where to draw the line so that the left side is network portion and the right side is host portion.
Thanks so much. I give you A plus. So basically, without subnet mask, right? Without subnet mask, when you look at the, you know, the IP address, when you look at the IP address, right? If I don't give you this subnet mask information, if there's no subnet mask information, I don't know where to draw the line, right? And you know that IP address, another thing is the IP address is hierarchical, right? Hierarchical, meaning that some portions, right? Some portion is like network portions, and you know that some portion is what? Host portion. So for example, like this is what? Jack Brown building, room number 101. So in that sense, it's IP address is hierarchical, but without subnet mask information, right? Without subnet mask information, I don't know which part is network address, like which part is Jack Brown building, and I don't know which part is what? Host portion, like a room number, for example. So that's why IP address alone, it's kind of meaningless. And that's why we have to have what? IP address. And then we have to have the subnet mask information together. So any question? Any question? Okay. So now I can move to the next topic, which is non-natural boundary case, right? This non-natural boundary cases, for example, let's just extend from what we learned previously about classical IP address and then subnet mask. Previously, we learned that subnet mask always ends on the non-natural boundaries. For example, right? For example, this is like exactly like, you know, octet, right? You know, octet is what? Each octet consists of 8 bits. So 8, 8, 8, 8. and 8, 8, 8, right? 0, 8. So 8 bits, right? So the first octet, second octet, third, and fourth. And if you look at the previous, okay, for the class C, we know that this is 255.255.255.0, right? So look at this. When the IP address is classful, right? We know that it's the default subnet mask or the subnet mask always ends on natural like octet boundary. For example, in this case, it ends here, which is like 16, right? So this is like 16, ends right there. And so that's why it's /16, right? So this is 16. And then for the class A, we know that this boundaries, right? The subnet mask always ends on that boundary 8. And that's why we have a /8. And for the class C, right, we have what? The subnet mask ends what? 1111111, right? Ends on this boundary, which is what? This boundary is 24. So that's why it's called /24. Right? Any question? Okay, so that's something that we learn, and that's something we can assume always. But however, the subnet mask do not have to end on natural octet boundaries. Okay, so that means this is like, you can think this is more like so basically this is what? This is the classful. And then we're gonna learn classless, especially like classless with the subnetting. And by the way, yeah, we have not yet even talked about subnetting. Okay, I'll talk. But like in this transition, right? What if the subnet mask? What if the subnet mask does not? I mean, do not ends on natural natural octet boundary. For example, if I give you, hey, here's the IP address, right? Let's say 192.168.3.0. I mean, we know that this is class C, right? But if I give you the subnet mask as, let's say, 255.255.255. What? 240, right? Then I'm going to ask you the same questions. Okay, exactly same as this one. I'm going to ask you, hey, what is a network address? Right? Number 2, what is the first usable host IP address? Usable host IP address. And then number 3, what is the second host IP address? And then what is like a last host IP address, right? And then number 4, it's what? What is it? The broadcast IP address, right? And then number 5 is, what is the number of usable host IP addresses? Then like 2 to the something, right? Power -2. And this is what? Basically, this is number of bits used in host portion, right? So this is called non-natural boundary case, as in this case, the subnet mask does not end on the natural octet boundaries. Okay, so let's just look at this. Let's just take a look at this one more. Let's just convert this as a binary number, because you know that 255, 255, 255 is, we know that it's all 1111, right? So we don't have to really convert this into the binary form. It's so obvious. So let's just carefully examine this. 255.255.255, right? And I don't have to really convert this into a binary form, just like I told you. It's so obvious, right? It's all ones, right? So all ones. And then 240, right? So when you convert 240 into the binary form, of course, we learn how to convert this decimal number into the binary number, right? However, I highly recommend that you should, if you really ace my exam, my final exam, as well as if you want to get certified, if you plan to take Cisco CCNA exam, I highly, I mean, you must memorize this number, because you don't have a time to convert this binary number to decimal, decimal number to binary. For example, 240, right? What is the equivalent of binary number for 240? 1111000, right? So just memorize this number, please. Okay. So we know that 240 is what? 1111000, right? So this means what? So if I use a slash notation, this is, okay, by the way, this is what? Okay, by the way, the IP address given is 163.3.0, right? So 00000000. By the way, I don't have to really convert this number into binary form, because this is like my area of interest, right? The last octet. And so that I don't have to really convert this into the binary format, because as you can see, that the last octet is where my interest is, right? So I'm extend 0 to 8-bit binary number. Okay, so just like Abdullah said, that the subnet, with the subnet mask, right? You know where you can draw the line. And then, you know, left side is IP portion, I mean the network portions, right? Jack Brown building. And the right side is host portion, right? That's why we need a subnet mask. Same thing. But this, right? I know that my one ends here, so I can draw the line here. And then my left side is what? My network portion. The right side is what? Host portion, right? So, so I know that, so, okay, so by the way, this is also what? I can represent this as, I mean, using a prefix notation, right? So I know that what is a, so for the prefix notation, I know that this is 8, 8, 8. So this is what? 24, right? 25, 26, 27, 28. So I know that this notation is 28, right? And so this is my network portions. And this is what? For my host portions. So from this, right? From this, you should be able to tell me what the network address is, what is the first host IP address is, you know, what the last host IP address is, and what broadcast IP address is, okay? And then, of course, number of usable IP host, number of usable host IP address for each network address, you know. For example, that means, so we know that this is the local area network, right? We know that this is what? We're going to use a network address. We're going to use a network address for this LAN, right? And then like how many, so we're gonna have a many, you know, host, right? So how many usable host IP address are available when I give you this IP address and this subnet mask? What is the answer? Answer is 2 to the something, right? X minus 2, right? And 2 means what? 1 for the network address and another for the broadcast address, right? So that's, we have to do minus 2. But anyway, this X means what? Number of bits used for the host portion, right? In this case, how many bits are used for the host portion? 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So the X at this case, in this specific example, X is 4. Okay? So basically that's the introduction, right? You know, for the non-natural boundary case. And the detail, right? How you can do a computation. By the way, the idea is exactly the same. Okay? It's the idea, like how you apply this idea, like using the subnet mask, right? This idea of using the subnet mask is exactly the same. Okay, so so basically you can watch my video tutorial. Now, for example, I'll show you. Right. So basically, I want you to watch this video tutorial, and then yes, a practice. And then I give you tonight or tomorrow morning your attendance quiz. I think attendance quiz is probably due by Tuesday something, and then actual homework assignment is due by Thursday 6 p.m. Okay. So any question?
How do you find the number of networks? What is the 2x minus 2 again? Can you explain that again?
Okay, so good. Okay, so okay, for example, when I give you in the homework assignment, right? When I give you, let's say, if I give you 192.168. Let's say 5.0, right? And then since this is class C, I'm talking about the previous homework assignment. And then you know that by default, your subnet mask is this, right? And then this is what? Basically /24. By the way, what is your name?
Tina?
Okay. So by default, right? By default, we know that this is my subnet mask information. So I know that I can draw the line here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this is what? This is my network portions. And then this is my host portion, right? But if you look at this, the last octet, basically this is what? This is 8 bits, right? Basically 0, 0, 0. I'm just looking at the last octets. Could you please mute your microphone? Okay, thank you. So we know that if you look at this last octet, right? So we know that this is host portions. And we know that for the host portion, how many bits are used? How many bits? We know that 8 bits are used, you know, for the host portions. So if I ask you to find number of usable host IP address, right? If I ask you to find out number of usable host IP addresses, then the formula is what? 2 to the what? X minus 2, right? You know, and then since we need to subtract the 2 from this number because we need to subtract network address and broadcast address. But this X, right? X is what? Number of bits used for the host portions, right? And then in this specific case, X is 8. But in my previous example, right? In the non-natural boundary case, since I need to draw the line here, line here, right? And how many bits are used for the host portions? 4 bits are used for the host portions when the subnet mask is given as 255.255.240. And in this case, my x 2 to the x minus 2, the same thing, right? But in this specific case, my x is what? 4. Okay. So any question?
So -2 is for the network and the broadcast?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So for example, if you, let's just take a look at this example. So I know that the 4 bits are used for the host portion. So let's just draw the network diagram. So by the way, what is the 2 to the 4? Let's just calculate. 2 to the 4 minus 2. It's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 minus 2, right? So this is what? 4, 8, and 16, right? So 16. So 16 minus 2, which is what? 14, right? So that means, so we have a local area network. And then, so we have a network address, whatever that is, right? And then how many, so then we can have up to what? 14 hosts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 13 and 14. So like this is like host number 1, and this is host number 13, and this host number 14, right? So we can have 14 usable host IP addresses, and then we can assign that IP address for each host. And by the way, the reason that we subtract -2, I mean, you know, the 2 to the 4 is actually 16, right? But the reason that we can only have a 14 is the first IP address. If you look at the IP table, right? The first IP address is what? They always use for the network address. The last IP address is always used for the broadcast, right? That's why we need to subtract the network address and then subtract this broadcast address. Then we can only have 14 IP addresses. Okay, so any question? Okay, so please watch my video tutorial, the public-private IP address and the non-natural boundary cases. And then the quiz, the attendance quiz and the homework assignment. Attendance quiz will be due by either Monday or Tuesday, right? Because I don't want you to watch my video tutorial the night before the due date. So on purpose, I'm gonna make this due date for the attendance quiz. It's probably what, Tuesday, yeah, Tuesday noon or Tuesday like 5 p.m. And then the homework assignment will be due by Thursday 6 p.m. Okay. So any question?
No.
Okay. So see you on